Everybody that I spoke to said, you know what, I think that suspension is going to keep you from winning. You shouldn't do it. Either they told me not to do it, or they told me it wasn't the time. You should wait. Give it 4, 5 more years between the time you got suspended and you run it. It's not really a good time. Everybody told me that. Nobody believed in me.
I did.
Well, you must have, because you walked a lot of miles with me.
I did.
And you walked a lot of miles with me too. But for the most part, nobody believed in me. I didn't get any money really when I tried to raise money for funds. I didn't get any of the endorsements. You know, you have to go to these big people to get endorsements. But what I didn't stop doing, like my brother said right here, is I didn't give up. I continued to try. So no matter where you are, no matter what you've been through, don't lose focus on your dreams or what you want to do. Keep on trying. Stay in the game because you can accomplish it, even if no one else believes it. So nothing good was ever, or nothing great was ever achieved without purpose, without trying, without effort. So you got to put forth the effort. You can't just sit on your couch and say, you know what, man, I need a job. I want a job. Beep, beep. You know what I mean? There's no effort in that. You actually got to get up, get that paper, go knock on these doors, and people will say, you know what, I don't want to give you a job because you got on a tank top today. You know what I mean? Or I don't like black shoes, so I'm not giving you a job. That's all right. Go to the next one. Go to the, keep on trying, keep on putting forth that effort. Absolutely. Nothing great was ever accomplished without hard work. Absolutely. So when you get that job, when you get that opportunity, if you don't put in the hard work, there's no way that you're going to accomplish great things. So we have purpose, we have trying, we have effort, hard work.
Faith.
Faith, okay, that's important. Because when things are going against you and no one's believing in what you want to accomplish, or they say, you know what, you've been to court 1,000,000 times, you can't do better, you know, you have to have faith in yourself that yes, I can. You know, I'm going to get past this. I know that, and let me use a BMV. I know my BMV says I have 1,000 courts that I owe money to. I know my record says that I've messed up a bunch of times, but I have faith. I believe in myself that I can turn it around. So nothing great was ever achieved without faith. What about you?
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence. That plays into the same arena. Because again, like we said with you, when you don't get those opportunities, because I'm using your example, and no one else believes in you, you have to still remain confident. And that's difficult. When people tell you that no, you cannot do it, you won't win, you can't achieve it, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have that faith, it won't happen. So that's important. Sacrifice, absolutely. You have to sacrifice to achieve anything great. Give you a prime example. Like I said, the little examples that happen here in court. So instead of saying, you know what, I don't have my license and I don't know how I'm gonna take care of my fines and costs. I owe another court. I owe this reinstatement fee. But on Saturday morning when the new Jordans come out, I'm gonna stand in line so I can get those new Jordans. I mean, how many people have seen that line? I mean, you have to see it. I go up to Richmond Mall on a Saturday morning and I'm like amazed. A couple of times I took pictures of it because I just couldn't believe it. Parents dropping kids off so they can stand in line to buy the new shoes because people are sacrificing what they want to, but it's the things that make you great. Are you willing to sacrifice for that? So, are you willing to go back to school? Are you willing, if you can't afford school, are you willing to go to the library and pick up a book and or learn how to read at the age of 30, 40, 50, even if you can't do it? Are you willing to sacrifice so that you can be great? Because the key is if you do, then great things will occur. I don't know if you want to chime in. I know you're not.
Consistency.
Consistency. Absolutely. You have to be consistent. Your message has to be consistent, and you have to be consistent in order to achieve your goals. So that's what I mentioned about the cycle breaker thing. I can't sit up here and talk about, you know, making sure you're living your best life and putting forth a good example if I can't do it every day too. So it takes hard work, but nothing great was ever accomplished without consistency. Motivation. You know what I was hoping you would say? Being on time. If you walked in late, I was hoping you would say nothing great was ever accomplished about being on time. But maybe somebody else would use that. Motivation. You're absolutely right. And oftentimes, like we talked about self-confidence and faith, you have to motivate yourself. And I'll use another example. It's interesting because there's a new trend and everybody's into physical fitness and these trainers are making all this money. And what I found, the common thread is that trainers, sometimes you need them because you may have a scenario that's just difficult. But most times people just need somebody to help them stay motivated. So nothing great was ever accomplished without motivation, but I'll tell you, it's even better when you can motivate yourself. When you don't need somebody yelling at you to say, get your license together, or get up there and do it, another sit-up. You can say, you know, I want to do this for myself. I'm tired of sitting in this situation. I'm tired of the same cycle. I want my child to see that, you know what, I can achieve this. Or I want the judge to say, you know what, I'm going to get my license. You may not believe it, because I keep driving under suspension, I'm going to go to jail, do the jail time that Judge Dawson's going to impose, but when I get out, I'm going to get my license, I'm going to show him. So you're right, absolutely, you have to have that. Anyway? Dedication. So you have to be dedicated to whatever it is that you want to accomplish. You have to be dedicated, which keeps you going. So that's the way that you stay out of trouble. Remember how we talked about the whole thing about emotional intelligence and how you avoid making those mistakes? You have to be dedicated to it. Director, would you like to chime in? You're a professional, you are an accomplished man. Nothing great was ever accomplished without what?
Do I have like maybe 90 seconds of real quick
Absolutely.
story?
Absolutely.
Okay, I've been blessed. I got 3 great kids and I got 3 grandkids, but there was a point in my life where I could have went this way, I could have went that way, and it was my mom that really saved me for me. I was studying for a physics, college physics exam. It would have been my sophomore year, and I just was really struggling. I took the book and it just said, screw it, I'm just going to quit school. So I told my mom I'm quitting school, college. And she didn't yell, she didn't scream. She says, well, set your alarm, we're getting up early. Tomorrow morning, we're going down to Republic School and the Army recruiters, because if you think you're going to sit and watch soap operas while I work at J.C. Penney, that ain't going to happen. So this was at the time of the Vietnam War, so being here and going into the service probably also meant, and I just stared at the physics book for about an hour and a half, and then I picked it back up. So I was blessed, and it just so happened about 35 years later, my mom and I actually went on a little short vacation, and we went to a factory where they make glassware, and I saw 2 men. One was about 18 and one was probably like 60-something, both working at this open heart oven, sticking in these vases with the tubes coming out, blowing them. And I saw the 18-year-old and I saw the 60-year-old, and I just turned around and started hugging my mom, and I started getting teary-eyed. And she's, what's the matter? I said, Mom, that could have been me, that young man. And that young man is probably going to end up being that old man. Absolutely. And that was the life. So I was blessed.
Absolutely.
I think that's why people ask me, why do you come and work here? You live in Moreland Hills, you don't need to come down here. I come here to come give back.
Absolutely.
I'm blessed.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So we only have a few more minutes, but we have 2 more.
Commitment.
Did somebody else say commitment already?
No.
Okay. All right. So y'all are backing her up. That's
No.
good. Teamwork too. Nothing great was ever accomplished without teamwork. Commitment, absolutely. That's a story of commitment right there. And some things motivate you in different ways. You know, and that's a great example because you can kind of draft how your life is going to be based on what you're committed to or the failure to commit. So oftentimes it's important to be committed. So nothing great was ever accomplished or achieved without commitment. And my last, gentleman?
Without time.
Without time. And what do you mean by that exactly?
Being on time.
Not being on time, right?
Nothing without time is that's the way patience.
Okay, so patience. You're right, and invest in the time, because you're right. Most things, and that's one of the things that's really, you know, rampant in our neighborhoods is that we want the fast money, we want the fast turnaround. You know, you have kids who are in school, high school, they graduate and they want a car, or they want the Jordans, they want all these things, but that takes time. You have to actually build up to it. You know, you're not going to go out, but they think they can. You're not going to graduate and have a BMW. Or you're not going to graduate and be able to immediately buy everything you want. But our young men and women think that. Not only do they have a lack of patience, but there's a sense of entitlement. Like they should have these things. So that's a greater conversation that we need to have. And I always have it when I go to the schools because you have to invest the time to get those things. And then the last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to my young lady right here. Being on time is important. I'm going to tell you why. Not just because, and I'm not going to use it just to embarrass you or anything like that, but it shows something about me. It really does. In venues like this, there have been situations where I've had people who've come to court, they've shown up, we have a 1:30 docket. One young lady was here like 12:45. She sat out in that hallway, didn't complain, didn't moan, didn't groan, came into court, sat here, was so packed her case didn't get called till like 3:30, continued with the same smile. That's a case that I don't remember how nice I treated her, but if nothing else, I vacated some of her fines and costs because of just, not only did she show professionalism, but she showed patience, but she was on time, she was early. So those things really impress people. So if you want to make an immediate impression, when you have a job interview or if you have something to be on time or people, earlier than on time. Get there early because it says something about you. So we are out of time, and I have to respect the time of council who's coming in next. So all of us, we will resume. You have next week, you have the other portion of it, which is finishing first with the officers, and then next week, the week after that, you'll have me again. But keep in mind, the emotional intelligence premise is understanding and recognizing your emotions so that you can control your emotions as opposed to just reacting. Then the next level is being able to recognize the emotions in others, like police officers when they're approaching you, so that you react in a way that you don't have a negative interaction with the legal system. So we'll resume a little later. Make sure you hand in